issues that we did not address, did not vote on Thursday night. We continued them to this morning. Since this is a resumption of what had done on Thursday, skip right to roll call, just to get a tally of who's here. If we can have the roll call.
Mayor Lambert.
Here.
Vice Mayor Griffin.
Here.
Councilmember Gay.
Here.
Councilmember Manning.
Here.
Councilmember Stoll.
Here.
City Manager Hyde.
Here.
City Attorney.
Here. Okay, what I'd like to do, Vice Mayor suggested this, I think it's a good suggestion, that since Mayor Joe has been very patient from the City of Ridgeside, coming to us, I know she's been to at least the last couple of meetings. We're going to move that first, so that she doesn't have to sit here through however long this meeting lasts.
I appreciate it.
Well, thank you again for your patience. So, discussion of Ridgeside contract. I think staff has some numbers for us.
Mayor, we looked at the level of services proposed in the fiscal year 16 budget because there's a 6-month provision in the contract, and if it were to change, if the change were made today, it would not take effect for 6 months. All right, so looking at the 16 numbers that have been proposed in the city council for consideration, the difference in the contract today versus a new amount for police and fire services would be an additional $2,470. If you included the full amount for code enforcement, just calculating that per the cost per East Ridge resident times the number of Ridgeside residents, that amount would increase $8,131.
That would be 2,000.
It would be total, that would be total. That includes the police, fire, and codes.
We added on top of the 95,000.
The council determined that really exists.
I think, based on our conversations Thursday, we talked about I think both chiefs spoke to the fact that they wouldn't anticipate a great deal of activity if we began doing some of the code enforcement. And we could certainly, like the city attorney suggested, we do it this first year, and if we see any problems or whatever, then we can come back and address it. I guess to expedite the issue, here's my thinking on this. I would say we ask for the $2,470 or $78 that would be the recalculation. We would ask for that would take effect 6 months from now, but the additional 8,000 whatever.
Take effect in July 1. Any recalculation, you can give them written notice by June 1, and that would take effect at the beginning of the contract in July 1.
That was,
Yeah, I was just impression that codes were added, it took 6 months to implement.
Well, we're under this contract. This contract wasn't terminated by us with a 6-month period, so we're under this contract, and the only thing remaining to be done under this contract is recalculate the cost of service. But let me see if I understand, Thad, your numbers. The $8,000 number would anticipate some type of cost of service based upon anticipated calls for code violations. Is that what you're saying?
It was just the same, using the same formula that's used for police and fire.
if we pull code enforcement in.
Of course, the current agreement doesn't include that. The current agreement only talks about the calculation of police services and fire services. So if we're going to do that, we're 6 months late.
I guess my point was going to be, if we go ahead and charge them the $2,470, let's just eat the cost of the code enforcement if, you know, if that number ends up being, you know, an additional $2,000 or $3,000 that we spend. But we will see the results after this first year of how much that's going to cost us. As we've all discussed, there's only a handful of issues that they're really dealing with, and once those issues are handled, perhaps there's not going to be a need, or at least a reduced need going forward. So my suggestion would be to add the recalculated amount, so it's an additional $2,470, and we do the code enforcement for this upcoming year. That would be my suggestion. Obviously, if I'm the only one up here who thinks that's the way to go, then so be it. But whatever you all would like to do.
Let me remind the council that the city manager is obligated in writing to provide Ridgeside with the cost by June 1st, which gives us another less than 48 hours. So we will do that by written notice.
So we have to give them 6 months' notice,
We're going to terminate the contract for anything other than.
or change the contract.
Right.
Okay, so the contract is due by June 1st, if I'm understanding right?
Well, the contract, the calculations, the cost calculations are due by June 1st, under this section 5.
So you give them a 6 month window from the next June 1st, so they would have to give them a written contract at least by December, January.
Yeah, right.
So that we need to readdress this in December or January.
Yes, we do.
And that's when we could do the calculations.
Right. On the cost of the code services, stuff like that.
Or we can have, all three.
Right.
So
I don't want to throw a monkey wrench into this, and I understand that we have to follow under the existing contract in the next 6 months. But I spoke to our East Ridge City Judge, Judge Helton, and he said that he has no jurisdiction over Ridgeside residences, over citizens of Ridgeside. That everything has to go down to Hamilton County. So, here's my suggestion. I would like, and I don't want to get, I'm not trying to discuss this now. I just simply want to make this suggestion. I think your city attorney, our city attorney, and our city judge, the three of them need to get together and have a meeting of the minds on who actually has jurisdiction over Ridgeside residences and violations.
But as far as the
That's
city of East Ridge is concerned, we're happy to take the code violations, code citations, where Ridgeside wants us to. Mr. Mann, all he needs to do is tell us where he likes to do that. If he's concerned, as Judge Helton is, about East Ridge's jurisdiction to enforce code violations, then that's the thing to do, take it downtown.
That's, all I'm asking for is a clarification, and that's simply what I was addressing the other night, is who had jurisdictional control over it. So, I just think that the three of you need to get together and figure out.
And I think that's a concern as well. I think, and this is, apparently this agreement goes back for some time, but I think it's a concern when East Ridge police officer arrests a Ridgeside citizen in Ridgeside. Where's that prosecution? So, yeah.
According to General Sessions Court, and I've contacted them several times, it has to be here because it's your policeman doing the work, and because of our interlocal agreement, it has to come to this court. Hamilton County's not going to see an East Ridge policeman, a Ridgeside person, so they said it has to come in.
Well, I think one mitigating factor, aren't East Ridge police officers deputized in Ridgeside as well? Didn't you swear those?
Some were this past week, and the second group will be in 2 weeks. And to me, if you're going to enforce the law, I think we have to be able to bring them to court, to bring people to court.
Well,
Otherwise,
I'm not arguing that it's which court, but that's the question, is which court.
Mr. McMahon, I can sort of do that. In fact, I've spoken to him previously.
We just can't get anybody in Hamilton County. They keep sending us back here because we're paying you all to enforce our laws. And otherwise, you know, I mean, I don't, then what do we have? We have a security service, I guess.
Of course, I think you had that at one time.
Yeah, we did. We've had several.
I thought y'all had your public schools at one time.
We did, but it was a security service.
Gentlemen?
I'd like to make a motion then we put this on hold till December, January, work on that, we're working right now, and then, let our city attorney, our attorney, iron out our jurisdiction problems, who's going to handle cases, go ahead and, buy the service, and then bring it back to us in December.
But proceed with the terms and conditions of the existing agreement.
As
As they are.
it is right now, Robert,
Okay, so,
kind of give them the 6 months, window.
okay. In the 6 months coming up, we are or are not going to do code enforcement.
Well, let's address it all, because then we're going to present them a new contract, which would include.
Okay, but in the-
Calculation.
What I'm saying is in this next 6 months, we're not going to do the code enforcement. Is that?
No, let's go ahead and do it, but we've got that city attorney. Mr.
Okay.
Manning, get together, find out what the jurisdiction is going to come to. Mr. Helton or our code ordinance judge, or is it going to go downtown?
Yeah, we can sort that out.
Yeah.
But as I understand the motion, that you want the East Ridge code enforcement personnel to enforce the Ridgeside code.
No, and is it going to be at the 95,000 or the 90, or the new calculation, which would add
Come to
20%?
$103,972.18.
See how much?
Okay.
That's a $2,000 increase.
Yeah, not the
I thought it said 8,000.
Yeah, the 2,000 would come to 98,311.29.
And then do codes and then give them a new contract in December, put that amount, the other amount in then.
We'll see what the experience is between now and December, without having a code violation.
That's it.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to move forward with the existing contract with the recalculated amount, which would include the additional $2,470. We will do code enforcement for the city of Ridgeside in the next 6 months and work out the jurisdictional issues in the meantime. And potentially in December, present an entirely new contract, or not entirely new, but
But that contract would go in force until fall, 6 months, after July 1st, right, 16.
We negotiated in December or so.
Yeah,
It
you
was
said-
effective as of July 1st, 2016.
okay. Any comments or questions? Roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Griffin.
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle.
Yes.
Councilmember Manning.
Yes.
Councilmember Stoll.
Yes.
Mayor Lambert.
Yes.
And so the city manager then is going to notify in writing the city, perhaps the mayor, before June 1st.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. All right, the next item, we go back to the beginning and go through sequentially, is a discussion and or take action on employee insurance for fiscal year 16.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion, we put this out to bid so we can get more than just one quote. The one thing that was presented to us was Blue Cross Blue Shield. And I'd like to have this put out to other brokers and have brought back things out. I don't know if expedited somehow.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to put the health insurance, to basically allow for bids from other brokers and for other insurance companies.
Yes, sir.
And I'd like for each one of each council member and the mayor, attorney, and I think you want to see the copy of the contract.
You want a copy of each of the bids? Okay,
Each one of them.
okay.
I'm sure that the city manager, well, she's not here this morning, knows that for certain letters we gotta send to the brokers that we're gonna be doing this to give them the authority to go into the.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Do we have any other comments or questions?
Let me make sure procedural I understand. We're going to, when does the insurance currently terminate? June 30th?
June 30th, correct, we'll have to
So we're going to solicit.
try to get it done process.
How many days notice?
Typically do 13, 10.
So effectively, we're at the 1st of June, so by June 10th, so we solicit the opportunities to bid. Then we're gonna come back and make that determination, they're gonna evaluate the process, and we're gonna get all this done by June 30th.
Like we'll have to.
Well, my understanding is that we don't, Blue Cross automatically reduce it. So
Is it subject to termination if we change horses after, say, July 1 or something?
I mean, in that way we done it last year, that,
Same thing.
y'all had trouble last year with insurance, and because the question was asked, council meeting, what happens if we don't resolve it? They said automatically renews.
Correct. The premium that they set, the renewal.
And then I think it was also asked of the broker, if we renew it, we come in with something else, even something that he brought in, then we have the opportunity to discontinue that.
At that time, or is it an automatic renewal period?
That never was addressed in the minutes, I read it, it just.
There's an automatic renewal if you don't do anything.
But is it a renewal period? I understand it's a renewal amount.
Oh, if we go with somebody else, that I'm not aware of the whole details.
No, what I'm asking is, it automatically renews, and I assume under the same cost?
No, so it would be a higher rate.
Okay, under the higher rate.
20 to 6,000 more than what we're paying now.
Are we locked in for 90 days or 6 months, or can we change the next
I
day?
think it's a year.
So if it automatically renews, we're locked in for another year. We don't get this done by June 30th at a higher rate.
Let's just fight on the positive, we're gonna get it done.
So I guess it's, gonna be up to staff to get the notices out first thing, either today or first thing Monday morning.
I'd like to see you notice that, well, we chose, I don't know, Mr. Coach, but I'd like you to see that today. That's what I like to see.
Okay. We're going to try to get out yesterday until we moved everything till today, so we'll do the best we can with the short staff today.
Okay, so anticipate if, well, I would anticipate the need for a call meeting at some point, probably toward the end of June. For nothing else than just to discuss the options and in order to make a final decision before the end of June. We already have a motion and a second to open this up to
That's all.
additional brokers. We can just kind of handle that when we know the need is there. Thank you. All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other comments? Roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Griffin.
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle.
Yes.
Councilmember Manning.
Yes.
Councilmember Stoll.
Yes.
Mayor Lambert.
Yes. Next item is ordinance 989.
An ordinance to provide revenue for the city of East Ridge, Tennessee, for the fiscal year July 1st, 2015 to June 30th, 2016, and appropriating the same to the payment of expenses of the municipal code, fixing the rate of taxation of all taxable property in the city, the time taxes are due, how they should be paid when they will become delinquent, providing for the interest and penalties on delinquent taxes and privileges. Here on first reading.
Motion to approve.
Second. We have a motion and a second to approve. Any comments or questions? Of course, this is the first reading, and if we need to have another meeting or two to discuss various items in the budget, certainly we can do that before the second reading.
There's no need to be salaries not in.
Okay.
Increases.
Right. Now, of course, all that could be done technically during the second reading, but I'm not sure how advisable that would be.
I believe we should wait to read all the salaries and everything in this portfolio on the contract. About that portfolio.
Well, the salaries are in there, it's just the increases that you proposed, the 2%, 3, whatever increase, and the Christmas bonus that you proposed to add to it. That's what the cover sheet is for. We have not put that in there because you haven't decided on where you want to be.
We're gonna have another meeting on
I think so, yes. I think as far as when that will be, I'm not sure, but I think it would be good to have another workshop to iron out some of the details before we go into second reading. Okay.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes.
For questions and stuff like that, you know, on the budget, can we not email our questions and all to staff rather than, so that they can have time to respond rather than, I'm just thinking about for time purposes, so that we can, you know, try to help facilitate this thing along so that, you know, we don't sit back and hold all of our questions until we have a meeting. Let's just go ahead and ask them. There's nothing that is in our city charter that prohibits us from asking staff questions outside of an open meeting. So,
And that's, you know, and that's fine, certainly. You know, if we have questions now that we feel like staff can answer, then by all means, we can send those in. If we have questions that come up late in the game, or maybe we just think of on the spot, certainly, we will have opportunity to ask those questions.
well, see, the only reason why I bring that up is if we ask questions now, they're gonna have to go back and they're gonna have to get us the answers. And then we're gonna have to wait on those answers for an unknown period of time.
Sure.
Let's just go ahead and get it all out there. So, that's just a recommendation.
That's the reason I already made a motion, is to have me Russ and person, each one. All
Okay.
those topics, I made a motion.
Well, we already had a motion, there's already a motion on the floor to adopt the ordinance 989 on first reading. So we'll come back, if you'll hold on just 1 minute, we'll come back and,
I made a motion for that.
I don't think so. I think we had the motion and second to approve the budget ordinance first, but, well, like I said, we'll definitely come back, we'll definitely come back and address the additional meeting. Any other questions or comments on ordinance 989 before we vote on first reading? Okay, roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Griffin.
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle.
Yes.
Councilmember Manning.
Yeah.
Councilmember Stoll.
Yes.
Mayor Lambert.
Yes.
Can I say something else, sir?
Yes, sir.
These are not actually questions, these are actually proposals. There's 1, 2, and 3% Christmas bonuses. I personally don't think him and I need to be discussing back here in the back. I think it needs to be set out here where everybody in here can hear it, and then for us to vote on it.
Yeah,
This is a vote on it.
No, absolutely. If you're proposing, if you're proposing something, then certainly I think we all need to be able to have input on that. If Mr. Manning's gonna propose a certain salary increase or whatever it is he already has, then certainly we need to be able to
I think everybody.
sort through that.
Know what's going on.
Right. So, yeah, I think if there are questions, if we anticipate questions that that can be asked, hey, what is this line item for?
That's
Then,
what
then
it's on.
let's go ahead and ask those questions now, or by email, or phone call, or whatever, to the city staff. But if there are proposals, as Mr. Cagle is saying, certainly those need to be brought out in another meeting at some point here in the future.
That's what when I was talking about a while ago, that wasn't public, that was what's going on, I thought, we ought to have a meeting with the public, know what's happening. But I don't want to be called being in the back room.
Sure, sure. Well, let's be thinking about when we could do another budget workshop. I know we've all got dates coming up that are probably not very good for us.
We want to discuss it now.
We certainly can.
Mayor, I'm gonna be out of town on the week of the 20th through the 25th meeting, Thursday. So I'll move that meeting. I think, Mr. Rabbit, did you say you're going out of town that same week, or?
I'll be out of town. I'll be here for the 11th, but I will be out of town for the 25th. And I'll also be out of town on the 18th.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
Since Thursday, I have to get another one of these. I see on here other items for discussion, consider pay increase for city attorney. We don't hear about Mr. Manning. So I would like to ask the city attorney that if he would like to have a pay increase, please bring us a proposal or something to ask for it, or.
I haven't asked for that.
Okay, I know, it's just on here, and I was,
How much is it?
oh, it don't say.
We have never had the county bring paperwork saying he won't raise, we always propose. To me, that would be embarrassing to him.
I'll leave you to bring some paperwork, I'll tell you things anyway, or I'll tell you, I got something else I can do.
Okay, so as we're considering a budget workshop or something to that effect, what dates would be good? Obviously, that second meeting in June, looks like we're gonna have at least 2 council members who can't make what is scheduled currently. So we need to address that when we're gonna have a budget workshop. And really with the change of date for the second meeting, we probably ought to consider changing the date for the first meeting, because we really need to be able to maintain a 2-week, 14-day distance between those two.
Everybody be here on the 4th of June.
Next week is out for me.
Like we're out of town.
We could do
15th to 29th.
That would work okay for me, 15th and 29th.
I'm at the 15th.
Monday the 15th. Okay.
We're not gonna be here all week.
I've got a previous engagement on Monday.
No, it took me a minute. Mark, sorry. 16th, how about 16th and 30th? Well, I know we've got court those nights.
I'm available the 16th.
JL, would you be available 16th and 30th? Those are Tuesdays.
Like I said, folks, I'm tired.
16th.
Yes, yes, we maintain the normal timing, just different dates.
June the 16th.
And location will change because of what will be going on in here.
June the 16th at what time?
Yeah, 6 o'clock we'll do the agenda session and
And then June
then
the
regular meeting
29th.
6:30, yeah, June 30th.
I'm fine. It's not because of the extension.
We go classify these as regular council meetings.
We have to.
Yes.
We'll need to cancel the other two, I guess, in formal motion.
Let's do that now. And we'll go ahead and cancel the 2 regularly scheduled meetings for June and replace them with these 2 new dates. So we will entertain a motion.
Make a motion to change the 2 dates for regular council meetings, which are the 11th and the 25th, to move them to the June 16th and 30th.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second.
Second.
We have, yes, sir. Any other comments or thoughts on this? Okay, roll call please.
Vice Mayor Griffin.
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle.
Yes.
Councilmember Manning.
Yes.
Councilmember Stoll.
Yes.
Mayor Lambert.
Yes. All right, the next item would be the variance for the beer permit, Jose Melendez. Were we able to contact the church?
I went over there, made a call, even went over there, knocked on all the doors multiple times yesterday and was unable to make contact.
Do we not put a sign up, I mean, like they do for zoning? There's been a hearing, like I said.
I don't know.
I don't know that we're required
I
to.
don't think we have it.
Most of the time, they know you go to church on Sunday too. A lot of times you catch them on Sunday. They have different hours on weekends.
That's all the signs.
What type of business is going in there?
Restaurant.
Could be a Mexican restaurant.
Mexican restaurant?
What they do there, so.
And we discussed that the other day. That they could get a permit for alcohol, or whiskey from the state and serve that, but I'm not going to get a beer permit without going through us.
It's perplexing in a couple of different ways. You know, they had mentioned the precedents the other night in the Rite Aid. There's a distinction in my mind that one is essentially package sales, the other is on-premise consumption. So that's a pretty significant difference, I think. But I wouldn't, and as I explained the other night too, I wouldn't have a problem if the church or the neighbors said, you know, it's okay.
We had one
We don't
neighbor,
mind.
we had one neighbor write a letter saying that they approved.
I don't, you know, certainly we can move forward however you all would like to, but I don't know that I'm comfortable enough to make a vote one way or another. Without
Let's
hearing.
let me try to get, somebody talking about contacts, letter, send a letter, let's put this table until.
I think the applicant is under a time constraint of, June 15th, was that it? Yeah, and so they had to give notice of whether they were gonna move forward with the lease or not at that point.
I think we get the letter out, Monday, they're gonna have it on Wednesday, surely the church will pick up the mail.
Maybe we put
Don't
a,
hear a response back.
maybe we put a notice or a letter out there on their front door tonight or today in anticipation of tomorrow, the church service, and
I think they got a thing.
Gotta catch them sometime.
See me,
There was a pastor's office this day.
things, about section.
So, like I said, we can move forward however you all would like to, but, I'll tell you, if it comes to a vote, I think I'm gonna abstain, because I don't have. Is there a motion to,
I make a motion that we try to contact the church again and then proceed from there.
Second.
Referring this to another meeting or just checking it out?
Deferring.
I think so.
Well, this is gonna be out of their scope, then, whether they were under their contract or not. So it's, what you say, June 15th?
June 15th.
Our next meeting, June 16th, so,
Well,
uh,
they can extend that, I mean, you know, it don't look like about taking it over down the ridge, so, except for this guy, so I mean,
Well, it did say also that the lease was going to have a contingency with the tank here.
And obviously, if we can get a good, if a good tenant wants to go in there, and, you know, I'm all for that. You know, obviously, we have a rub with our current ordinances, and, you know, unless I know for a fact that the neighbors are good with it, I don't know. Or the offended parties, as I call it, whoever it is that's technically too
well,
close.
I don't, I mean, it doesn't say we have to, but I don't know if we just put a sign up. You know, neighbors will see it, like, that's what we're about to, try to contact.
Maybe we, you know, maybe we have,
Little big yellow signs up, out front, people notice the sign, look at it, or gifts, they'll show up.
maybe we have a budget meeting and as a call meeting, and have this listed as an item to vote on that night as well, as a reason for the call meeting. As long as we put it in the notice, we can vote on it.
did we ask Chief Williams if there's anything in the codes that would violate us from putting a sign up there, out there on the Ryan's lot stating that they are asking for a variance for? I don't know if we've ever done anything like that in the past.
No, it's not gonna happen.
Of course, the city of Chattanooga does precedent.
I don't see anything wrong with it, I mean, it doesn't say we can't, it doesn't say we can't, does it?
That's up to council, I don't see it as anything that says we can't do that. We may have some other contact numbers or folks that may be able to get in touch with the pastor of that church. I could try to reach out today and see if I can make contact with you personally.
Well, also, if we-
See, man.
Yeah, also, if we can ask the police patrol, you know, during their patrols, swing by there, see if anyone's there. There are different name and contact information passed along to the city manager.
I noticed there were two cars in the parking lot yesterday, and those same two cars were there this morning when I went by, so I'm not sure how active the church is. I don't know, I've never paid that much attention. JR, you might be able to address that.
I know Mr. Osmond, I know where he lives, I can go by and try to make contact. I also know another member of the church that lives off Seminole, so I can try to do that stuff.
Thanks, Chief.
Chief JR to check out.
Sure. But it sounds like both chiefs can help us out here, so if you wouldn't mind, that would be great.
Then they get back with our attorney. Chief.
So we have a motion to table this until we make contact with the church. Yeah, I know we had a motion. Did we get a second? Yes. Okay, we did have a second. Any other comments or questions?
No comment, and we'll go, that, those chiefs will work on it, with our attorney, they can work on it. I think, come back to that, what's going on.
Okay.
And the mayor.
So I'm clear, what am I supposed to do?
About to have what the church thinks.
Well, I guess that is the clarification. Are we going to put up a notice or are we going inquire informally like that.
I think they ought to just talk to them face to face.
Well, they
I don't
don't
think
get it,
that's a
don't
letter
have
of
to
the city attorney needs to be written, I mean,
just.
it would take a week for it to get there in the mail, you know?
He could want to read it.
Okay, we'll follow.
All right. We have the roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Griffin.
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle.
Yes.
Councilmember Manning.
Yes.
Councilmember Sewell.
Yes.
Mayor Lambert.
Yes. Okay, so we have tabled that item until we can make contact with the church. The last item is item G. That's the manager contract.
Mayor, I would like to respectfully request that we table this to the 16th, so I can provide y'all with my interpretation or my request for a contract before we move forward. I have spoken to the city attorney about it. Not about this, but I just feel like it'd be better for you to know where I stand, what I'm expecting, and then instead of us kind of starting off the ground zero, I think that would work in the best interest of me, of the city.
Okay, I have no problem with that. How do we need a motion on that, or since
Motion table.
the table until the 16th? Okay.
Motion table.
Second.
To a specific date, to the
To
16th.
the 16th.
To the 16th.
Okay. We have a motion and a second.
I'll get something out. You guys probably can answer that. That way you have plenty of time to look at that ahead of the agenda package on that. Or let's give you a good week before the 16th.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Griffin.
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle.
Yes.
Councilmember Manning.
Fine.
Councilmember Sewell.
Yes.
Mayor Lambert.
Yes. All right, that item is tabled to June 16th.
Mayor, can we discuss maybe a call meeting, a budget meeting, we already have it on calendar.
Yeah, certainly we can.
Yes. I mean, you're not good, right?
Right.
No, I'm missing
Here the week of 8th.
I'll be here. We have the TML
That's right.
conference.
I'm here.
But
June
Wednesday's
8th.
over the 10th.
We have it. We have it like, earlier.
I've been invited to Lincoln Day, like Wednesday night.
Everybody be back Tuesday, won't we?
The afternoon.
Should be.
I'm out of town Tuesday, but, yeah. I can do Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Thursday, yeah, Thursday was our record council meeting.
Right.
That's okay.
Oh.
They understand that. Y'all need
So what are you talking about, Tuesday the 9th?
Wednesday, for me, Wednesday, over Thursday, Friday.
I think Wednesday would be okay with me if we do it earlier, like 4. So we've done afternoon budget meetings before. So we wouldn't be breaking new ground on that.
What day was that?
That's right there.
We do it during the day.
I can get away for a little bit. Yeah. I mean, if we do it at like 11 o'clock, would that work? I could do that on the 10th.
11 o'clock.
6 a.m.
And also, Jose, the beer variance on there too.
Yeah, so they'll know.
That's
One way or
It's going to
another.
be a special
special
call
call
meeting.
meeting.
Right.
Yes.
Budget
Okay.
and beer variance.
Yes.
That's good.
That's all we have. Thank you all for being here today.
That's what I got. That's what I got. So last year.
John, how you doing, buddy?
They say Wednesday at 11.
I think that's Wednesday the 10th at 11 a.m.
11 a.m.
That's what I got. Good to see you, buddy.